we're going to be playing Crimson Memories, one of the worst rated visual novels in my Steam library. Maybe it'll be better than Dangerous Relationship was. Maybe. It's too hot, too hot. Waves after waves of the scorching heat continue to hit Tyria. Tyria? Mother, Father, where are you now? All surrounded are the continuously burning ruins, and the flames become fiercer, accompanied by the billowing rising smoke that made it unclear to distinguish the direction. Tyria coughed unceasingly, slowly sitting down, weak and limp. She very nervously held tight in her arms the bear toy which she loved from childhood. Just at that time, a charred roof fell down toward Tyria's direction. Please don't! Ah! Tyria finally woke up, sitting up with a jerk. She slowly looked around the surrounding whilst breathing heavily. This is my room. Trembling, loosening her clenched fist, she saw that it was all oozed sweat in her palm. There was so much sweat. Yeah, that's me when I'm playing Overwatch. I dreamed about that day again. That was something 14 years ago. No, it just passed 14 years. It would be better to describe it in this way. Tyria stretched out her hand and touched the scar on her back. Upon experiencing that horrible case, the deep scar remained, although the fire burn was cured. What had happened that day still left unutterable trauma to Tyria's body and mind till today. That was a time when she was just 6 years old. A fire suddenly broke out at home. Afterwards, she was told by a newspaper reporter that her parents had passed away because of that fire. The newspaper reporter told you? Like, okay. What a way to find out. At that time, Tyria didn't understand what it meant. Yet, at such an early age, she couldn't understand what the meaning of death was. So, when that middle-aged reporting man said to her, "You can't see them anymore," she finally got to know what happened and cried out loud. She cried and cried, with the sorrow all through. Then, a madam that she never met before came to her and said, "Come to my home." Then she treated the penniless Tyria like a family member and raised her up. To Auntie Cresta, Tyria couldn't repay the kindness, whatever she did. I should now work hard, even just for the sake of repaying her kindness. She looked up at the clock, and the shorthand had already pointed to 7 o'clock. It's already at this point. I should be hurried for work. If I hadn't hurried up and got ready, Tyria jumped out of bed in a flurried pace whilst thinking about this. And this is it's a visual novel Otome game, but it's like RPG Maker visual novel Otome game. Which, the closest I can think of I've played to that is there was this old RPG Maker game. Fuck, I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'll definitely try to find it and put it here, because I don't remember, but I loved it. It was one of the first Otome-esque games I ever played. And I really had a good time with it. It's too late! The store manager nagged at her even though Tyria arrived at the store 30 minutes earlier than the required schedule. Then kick his ass! This store manager was a very erratic person. Kick his ass! Although having been blamed by him before that, "You should try to appear earlier since you're still on your probation period," she arrived like how he nagged yesterday. At the store, the result was the same. If she had arrived earlier, the manager would have started nagging like it should have been 1 hour earlier. Such type of more and more excessive requirement. Damn it, why didn't you just tell me to be 1 hour earlier at the beginning? Having a fit of anger, Tyria nearly followed the impulse to hit the manager. Yeah, fucking do it. Fucking deck him. Wait, Tyria, don't be impetuous. Just calm down. Try to recall why you were dismissed in the place where you worked before. Did you deck that manager? Maybe I like her. Tyria suddenly remembered something happening 2 weeks ago. Even at present, I still feel very angry. I was carefully doing the cleaning work at that time, when suddenly that house's owner started to touch my hip. Then I couldn't suppress my anger and gave him an uppercut, beating him down on the ground. Woohoo, you go, girl. Fuck yeah. Although I felt very relaxed after hearing that, I was laid off several hours later. I still reflect upon myself that next time I would never behave in such an impulsive manner in a working scenario. I mean, this is different. I don't think you should probably actually punch this dude for bitching at you for being early but being late, you know? But if your other manager was touching you without your consent, you fucking deck him. This time, I should be careful not to do the same thing. Hey, are you listening to me? You don't have to make such a loud voice to make me hear you. Forcefully suppressing my discontent mood, I said to him in all smiles, okay, I will be more careful to respond to his rage. The manager seemed to be very satisfied with the answer. He groaned, turned around, then walked back behind the bar counter. I suddenly looked up to the azure sky and found that there was a thin layer of cloud. It is such a good weather. Upon stretching myself at full tilt and after a deep breath, I saw a guest with poor dress come into the store. That's poor dress. It looks like a pretty fancy hat to me. As usual, Tyria made a glass of ice water to the guest and then gave him the menu. After that, the manager suddenly rushed over and grabbed the menu from the guest's hand. Manager, why do you take it back? We don't have dishes for men in tatters. That's mean. We should treat all the customers equally. Look at him. I'm sure he has no money. Hearing the conversation, the seated customer suddenly said, but I have, then put a few bundles of money in front of the manager. How can he be our customer? Look at his rags. I can smell out the dirty jobs he did for the money. Tyria finally couldn't stand the manager who insisted to his self-concept anymore. This jerk. You know nothing at all. Something just occurred in her mind. At that very moment, Tyria swung her elbow right at the manager, striking her boss. Although manager's a big guy, still he fell down and rolled to the other side. I actually really like the MC so far, despite this being horribly translated. And this... She's just fucking dicked, dude. You don't see very many, I'm assuming that this was originally in Japanese. Maybe it was Chinese. I'm not sure. But mostly you only see Western Otome games where the MC is like a bitch who will roll people. And so far she's already talked about hitting men and she just smacked a dude. Like, she kind of roughened him. No sooner had manager understood what happened when he rose up and roared at Tyria with fire of anger. You beat me, you are fired. Yeah, I would think so. As my wish. Tyria did not make any concession. Having said what was due to a sudden impulse, Tyria suddenly realized something. Suddenly. Oops, I messed up again. How could things turn up like this? I have been so careful so far. Tyria walked her way home slowly in a low spirit. Just smacked into me. Suddenly someone from the back, there's a whole ass road here. This bitch just whoomph out of the forest right up on me. Suddenly someone from the back covered her mouth and caught her by the arm. Oh, okay, he purposely grabbed me. I thought he just ran into me. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Who? Don't turn around. You should not see me. Maybe you should wear like a face covering or something. That's just gonna make me be like, who are you? And beat his fucking ass. I've never been in a fight. I've never hit anyone. Just so y'all know. I'm a lot of talk and no action. Tyria felt something sharp pressing in her in the back. A robber? Feeling the danger, Tyria was in cold sweat. Oh, he's a robber with man cleavage, though. Tyria was taken to some unknown place blindfolded. It's so weird how it keeps, like, I feel like it's switching between, like, first person and third person, like, a lot. I could be wrong. It could just be me. Like, the first person might only be in the little brackets, and this might be outside of those, but it seems jarring. After her eyes were uncovered, she saw a mega building in the big open ground. Tyria, I shouldn't be trying to, like, nitpick this novel anyway, especially for any writing flaws, because I'd be here all day. Tyria fixed her eyes on the building in a shock, where there are even parking spaces for carriages. There is no doubt that people as noble as a count live in this building. After arrival, the man relaxed his hands a little bit, with which he had been holding the girl along the way. Catching the chance, Tyria turned around and tried to catch the man by his arm. I didn't think you'd have balls. Even under this, the man did not seem to waver. A man with brown hair and dark eyes was not rare in this country, but this man left people with a special impression. The cause must be his attitude of cynicism and his bulky muscles. It must be. What the fuck? Tyria stared angrily at the man who was shouting with laughter, with the belly in his arms. Just let me pick up my belly real quick and put it in my arms, don't mind me. After Tyria's eyesight moved to his hand, she found it was a pan that the man was holding instead of a dagger. You shoved a pan handle in my back? What if? If there were a dagger in my hand, what would you think? Must be a danger, huh? When I understood that your purpose is only taking me to someplace, I knew you would not hurt me. It seems you're a smart little girl. Why not just ask me to go then? And then you can threaten me if I didn't want to, but it seems like it would be more reasonable to just be like, hey, I got a palace here, can you come with me? Than just, I'm gonna poke you with a pot handle and force you to come with me. The man looked at her in no interest, seeming to intend to spoil her fearlessness. So, what's your name? My name is... I will tell you next time if we can meet again. What the hell? Are you normal? Hearing his answer, Tyria could not help to give a wry smile. She was speechless to him. My job is finished. You go in and know the rest. He opened the door and kept hurrying Tyria to come in without any etiquette of a gentleman. Ah, this is spoopy. Hello? Tyria swallowed hard and dragged her feet through the door. When she stepped on the floor, a sharp and scary noise came from below her feet. It seemed the blocks might break in a sudden if stepped on. Tyria lifted her spirit and paid attention to avoid treading on blocks that seemed to be about to break, moving forth really carefully. Outside seemed so nice, and this is like sketch as hell. At the very rear of the room, a man with grizzled but clean hair showed up. He was in a chair. He showed up. We didn't show up. He showed up. He was in a chair. It looked he could not be more than 40 or 50. In front of the man, there was a huge table which couldn't be covered by two stretching arms. True. Her arms be like this long, table be like this long. Two stretching arms could not cover that thing. Sit. With a head of questions and doubts, she could do nothing but follow his words. Who are you? Well, I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Sheerith. Mr. Sheerith, is there something I can do for you since you call me here? You can just call me Sheerith. In fact, I must entrust you to help me with something. Entrust me to help you? After Tyria repeated his words, Sheerith spoke slowly with an even more serious face. Tyria, your parents passed away 14 years ago, didn't they? What makes you mention this now? I still remember the news. It took up quite a lot of space in the newspaper. Oh, what was special with the accident? Suddenly recalling the dream scene in her morning, Tyria unconsciously bit her lower lip. In fact, there is a secret associated with the accident. A secret? Are you interested? His words aroused my interest. Of course, since I lost my parents in that sudden accident. If there's any secret, I hope you can tell me everything. But I cannot tell you for free, can I? How much do you want? Sitting there, Tyria thought about how much she owned in her little treasury. She could not pay all her deposit because if she would not be able to live any longer. If only I can live without living expenses. Same, girl, same. I don't need your money, but I need you to do something. I'm a little nervous about where this is gonna go. Just because this game seems a little sketch. But hopefully it's innocent. What do you want me to do? I need you to investigate something in
thank God. I need you to investigate something in Bill Ballard's place. Palace. Place. Palace. You know, it's all the same thing.
Tyria felt her wishful thinking was all in vain once she heard the outspoken requirement of the man. So all I have to do is finish this thing?
Yes, but I'll need you to do the investigation without anyone noticing it.
I thought about it at that moment, but I still wanted to know the facts anyway. Tyria stopped her hesitation and nodded slowly. I see. I'll try my best.
Then I'll count on you.
What am I investigating? After that, Tyria got details of the task from Shirith. Okay. She will have to work in the palace from tomorrow.
It's a good thing I just lost my job today. Hopefully they haven't heard that I've beat my 2 previous employers.
Shirith planted me in the palace and assigned me a job there so easily. Who is he anyway? Tyria walked her way home while pondering it. It was pitch dark outside. Nobody would notice her even if someone passed by. Tyria passed through the cabins one after another, which all seemed to be wrapped by the woods, and only God knows how many there they were. She finally stopped in front of one cabin, which seemed to have been rarely visited. You're really late today, Tyria. The moment she entered the room, amiable Aunt Cresta bobbed up, which calmed her down all of a sudden. Aunt Cresta, why are you still awake? Aunt Cresta kept rubbing her sleepy eyes. Despite that, she pulled herself out of bed to welcome Tyria home. I just felt uneasy about you, Tyria. Have you been good in your job these days on Earth? Uh-huh. Well, Aunt Cresta, I'm very sorry, but I got dismissed this time. Again. Oh, why are you apologizing to me? Even if you were dismissed, you must have had your own reason, right? You should hold your head high if you believe you have done what should be done. I'm glad for her not shaming her for what happened at her last job. Yay! Thanks, Aunt Cresta. Deeply touched by what Aunt Cresta had said, my nose twitched and I was almost about to shed tears. Oh, here's some good news though. I'm going to work in the palace from tomorrow on. I started a new topic immediately, trying to conceal my unstable voice, for I was so moved by her speech and almost turned speechless. Oh, isn't that excellent? You must do your best. Hopefully no punching. Actually, hopefully punching people. That'll make this game way great if we get to, like, punch some fucking royals. Hell yeah. Aunt Cresta chortled. It seemed that Tyria's great spirit that was written on her face finally made her relieved. By the way, I prepared you a stew over there. Just reheat the food and eat it if you are hungry. Well, I should probably get to sleep now. Good night. Okay, good night. Tyria went to the kitchen after watching Aunt Cresta off for sleep, then reheated the stew. That looks like eggs and croissants, not stew, but... Humming a little tune, ladled the stew, and Tyria began to eat at the table. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My chinchilla drinking his little water bottle and make a lot of noise. Aunt Cresta surely made the best stews. They're so good, they look like croissants and eggs and ham and a cup of coffee. They're so good. Totally ignorant of the secret ingredients of the soup. I'm guessing that's supposed to be more innocent than it sounds, but the totally ignorant bit, it makes it seem like there's something more sinister. Maybe I've just been playing too many horror games this week. But it definitely seems like there's something darker in that soup than she knows. Maybe that's just me. But it's for sure that Aunt Cresta serves much more delicious stews than any restaurant. Next time, I must avail myself of the opportunity to make her teach me to make stews. After finishing Aunt Cresta's stew, Tyria got up, washed the dishes, and walked towards her own room. She opened the door, slammed down on the little bed, and before long fell out of consciousness and into a dream. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like or a subscribe. Game will be linked below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!